Hello viewers, so I am back with my new video from book 2, lesson number 2, Greek city-states and governments of grade 5 U.A.E textbook. So here we have the learning objectives. To understand the role of the city-states in classical Greece, to explain the Greek version of democracy, and to examine the working of the government. The U.A.E link. Politics of U.A.E takes place in a framework of a federal, elective and constitutional monarchy. That means it is a federation of absolute monarchy wherein the kings of all the 7 emirates are holding certain designations in the governance. The CC link, it is linked with political science as the topic deals with the governance of the Greek city-states. Next, we have the warm-up exercise from the textbook. Whatever facts you know about Athens, of past or present, that you have to write down. I have written a few what I could recollect. Now here comes the lesson, the introduction of the lesson. The Minoan civilization of the ancient period lost power about the same time as the Greek city-states on the mainland gained power. So you can see in the map over here, you can see all the Greek city-states and you can see the Minoan civilization which had flourished. That is the southernmost island which you can see, a huge big green patch. So that was the Minoan civilization flourishing in this region, having the capital of Knossos. So when they lost their power, during that time, the main land of Greece, that is these city-states which are mentioned in white names. So they were the city-states which gained power. Next is Greece is an area that has mountains and an archipelago, that is a series of many islands. This meant that the parts of Greece were separated from each other, making travel difficult. So when you look at the geography of the region, it is not a plain region, but there are various mountains and also various islands which make up Greece. So one government was not possible to govern the entire region of Greece. Next, this may explain why power in classical Greece was found in individual city-states called as polis or in Greek. So this may explain us that why all these city-states were like a country on their own. So let us see the life of the Greeks in city-states. The people of the city-states spoke a dialect of the same language. So they had the same language, but there was slight variation in when they spoke to each other. But they had their own leaders and government structures. For example, Athens had democracy, whereas Sparta and many other city-states had monarchy, that is the rule of the king. Because resources like food and metals were limited by the mountainous land and rocky soil, they sometimes fought with each other. So, because of the scarcity in the food resources and metals, there were clashes within the city states. The two most prominent city states were Athens and Sparta, and they spent almost 26 years fighting war with them, that is from 431 BCE to 405 BCE, and that war was called as Peloponnesian War. So let us see Athens introducing democracy in their city-state. In the classical period over 2000 years ago, each Greek city-state had its own form of government. The people of Athens, distrustful of kings, had no faith in kingship, formed a government of citizens called democracy. The word democracy comes from two Greek words, demos, which means people, and kratos, which means power. They thought that all the citizens should have a voice in government. Now let us see the participation in democracy. Who was eligible to be a member of this democracy? However, not all the people living in Athens were included in democracy. Only male adult citizens who came from Athenian families, usually those with land and wealth, could participate. That means the wealthy Athenians, male members, were supposed to participate. Others were excluded. Women were not considered as citizens, so they were excluded. Slaves and immigrants lived in Athens but could not participate in the government because they were the people who were slaves. They were immigrants, that means they had come from other part of the country over here to Athens, so they cannot participate. Less than 20% of the people living in Athens were citizens and they were eligible to participate in democracy. So out of 100%, you just have less than 20% of the people participating in democracy. Now, how was the working of the government in those days? Now, what we practice is indirect democracy. Because of the population growth, it is not possible for the people all the people to have face to face discussion with each other. So we have our representatives who are there in the parliament and they are raising the voices for us. So over here, let us see the working of the government in Athens. The government of Athens was a direct democracy, which means the citizens voted directly on laws and other issues. Like now, how we have our representatives who are voting for us on our behalf. The votes were held in assemblies which met 40 times a year at the Pings, a hill near the center of Athens. The speaker's stone at Pings still exists today in Athens. The assemblies could have up to 6,000 citizens attending. Those who spoke in the assemblies about the issues and laws were called orators. At the end, a vote was taken and decisions were taken according to the majority votes. Ostraca and banishment. One way that the people of Athens protected themselves was by a special type of vote for ostracism or banishment. So, what does ostracism or banishment mean? It means to make a person leave the city of Athens for 10 years. After 10 years, the person could return. This was often done to remove a person seen as a danger to the city. Citizens voted by writing the name of a person they wanted to be out on a piece of broken shell or pottery called ostraca. Whoever had his name written the most was ostracized or banished for 10 years. So here we come to the activities. These are the textual activities. Children, please go through. Activity 2 is match the following. Please go through. You can go through this activity 3, wherein they are asking you the brief explanation of the vote to ostracize and what part of ostraca played in this process. And then activity 4 is just a very simple activity wherein they have given you the alphabets in Greek as well as in English language. They are almost the same and they are asking you to do the transliteration, which you can do it in your textbook itself. Next comes activity 5, which is in a form of conversation, a dialogue. So here I have written down 4 characters. That is I, Simon, James, and Mrs. Joseph. So you can go through, you can add some more points of your own and make it look more beautiful. Next comes activity 6, and in which you have a short speech to be delivered. so that you could be chosen as a president of the school council. So there are two topics. I have mentioned three over here. You can add some more. And then here comes the plenary. A few questions have been put up from the textbook lesson pertaining to this lesson, and I hope you'll be able to answer it well. If you're able to answer it well, that means you have understood the lesson well. So here I come to concluding my video. Thank you so much for watching my video. As always, I am signing off with a humble request. Please do like it, share it, and subscribe it if you haven't subscribed as yet. And please press the bell icon so that you get the notification of my latest videos. Take very good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Keep smiling. Bye bye.